Hello, this is Nadine from Affordable Staff, and I'm just about to interview Laura from Pod Financial, just to ask a little bit about her business and how she outsources and why she outsources with us. Why did you decide to outsource, Laura?
Okay, I'm going to stand up. It takes a bit.
Whoa.
That's why. That's not bread, by the way. Because I wanted to build a business that supports me, and I can't do everything myself. And particularly with a baby, it is impossible to work full time and have a child at the same time. So if I wanted to have a viable business, I needed to get support.
And that support kind of brings on capacity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were talking a little bit earlier about that even if you wanted to put on more staff here, you're lacking in space.
Yes. So, so my office, I work from home, and it's a great office. I love it, but it's very limited in its capacity to house a team. So I didn't want the overhead of actually needing to go and rent or buy an office. So I was looking at a remote solution to provide the support that I needed. Because there's such good technology that's out there at the moment that there's no downside to actually being able to do that. The other thing is that remoting means that I needed to focus really heavily on my system, and it actually set me up for success to do that, because it's very easy to band-aid solutions when someone's sitting right next to you.
Yeah.
But if they're not sitting next to you, then you get a really good insight of, it's a great audit on your business to go, where are the holes and how do I fix them? Yeah.
Okay, so and what has outsourcing done in terms of your hourly rate?
My hourly rate's probably gone up, I'd say. from my journey when I started with outsourcing to when I was doing everything myself, doing everything myself meant running the business, writing all of the loans, doing all of the admin, fixing the printer, just everything. I don't know, maybe my hourly rate might have been $4.50 an hour. Pretty poor. Because I've got that team in place now, the tasks that I focus on doing are much more strategic tasks. They're tasks around building the business and about growing the opportunities that we can then capitalise on. And that's what I focused my attention on, particularly now that the team is so good at running the files without my daily involvement.
Perfect. Yeah. Why do you think that trust is such an important factor when you're outsourcing?
If you don't have trust, what have you got? You have to trust. If there is no trust, then you've got no foundation to build on.
So if you don't trust, you also won't feel comfortable to even let go of those tasks or micro tasks.
No. Yeah. So you need to, trust is vitally important, and trust is something that is built over time. Trust doesn't happen instantly. Not for me anyway. A while to. And trust for me is developed over time when someone does the things that they say that they will do and delivers on the promises that they make. So
that's really real, whether it's trusting somebody here working for you locally or a team member who's working from overseas.
Yep.
Okay, so why did you choose us?
Because we developed that relationship of trust. And also then I test that. I do that with everything. I test, can I trust this? And I have trusted relationships with banks and with all sorts of providers. And that's built over time. trust can be easily eradicated as well, because if somebody does something that is contrary to what am I trying to say there?
Contrary to what they say they're going to do, so it's having the integrity to deserve the trust.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So, but I also tested. So I went to the Philippines. I went and had a look at the space that the team was working from, and I saw that there was no paper in there, or that there was no printer in there, or that a lot of the disciplines and the structures around business were there to support that trust, because it's those kind of structures that facilitate the trust to continue.
Yeah, and in the finance industry especially, having that intellectual property and security and privacy element covered is more important than ever.
It's really important. How my clients' data is protected is vital. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Do you think that outsourcing is taking jobs away from Australians?
No.
Why is that?
No, it's not. If anything, it's done the opposite. So what's happened for me is, because I've now got a team that supports me in the Philippines, and I have 2 staff members in the Philippines. What that enabled me to do was it gave me the headspace to think about, okay, how do I grow the business and bring on someone here? I always knew that I needed someone here. It's just that I didn't want them doing tasks that were not client facing. So what's happened is, because I've now got the team that supported me, that gave me back the time, that gave me back the capacity, I could then think about what I needed in terms of the support that I wanted here. And I now have a full-time staff member here in Australia as well, and she is unreal. And she had the support of my admin team in the Philippines from day one. And she loves it. So the next step might be to bring on another person here. And I will continue to grow the team here just as much as I will continue to grow my team in the Philippines as well. Because ultimately, that's how I'm going to build a really sustainable business.
Yeah. You've got the support base that you actually need, and it's not costing you a lot of money to get that. How could you not grow your business? It's just going to happen.
Yeah. And I never I never would have had the capacity to bring on my staff member here had I not initially outsourced the admin.
Okay. What limitations have you found, if any, in the outsourcing kind of arena with us?
I don't know whether they're limitations or whether they're opportunities. I think you can see things in terms of a limitation, or you can see it as an opportunity. And so, the prerequisites that I think need to be in place to outsource is you do need to embrace IT and technology, because that's your method of communication, and it's also the method through which you collaborate. So embracing IT is really important. Also embracing communication platforms that are delivered remotely. That's also important. So I don't see them as limitations. I see them as opportunities to grow a really sustainable business.
Yeah, I agree with that. So what difference then has outsourcing meant to your business? Like, what's the number one thing that it's happened and that has happened for you?
Well, revenue has definitely increased. Massively, it's been huge. But not just that, it's not been revenue at the expense of my time. So what that means is that the revenue has increased, but my work-life balance is better now than it was before I had any support at all. So it's kind of like the commitment that I've put into my team has delivered the results that I needed and given me a much more stable business, much more stable, because they work 40 hours each a week, whether I'm there or not. And they deliver on the client outcomes that we need to deliver without my daily involvement in it. So it's a much more sustainable business, it's a much more stable business, and the revenue's gone up.
So just a side question to that, do you feel like you could take, say, a holiday or a break and have your business run without you?
Well, I just had to do that in the last 2 weeks because my son got his tonsils out.
Okay.
And I know with 100% certainty that it is impossible to run a business and take care of a nearly 4-year-old at the same time. Impossible. And because he'd had his tonsils out, he couldn't go to daycare because he needed to be quarantined. So for 2 weeks, he could not go to daycare. And he needed me 100% of the time. And that was just so epic. But in that period of time that I was away, we had 7 formal approvals come through. And I wasn't even there.
Perfect.
You know, so it was just that that's my team operating at a level without my daily involvement and without my constant oversight or micromanaging. They have done that.
Okay, great. I'm really glad that we've been able to help you with that, Laura. Last question then. So what advice would you have for a business owner who's considering outsourcing?
Do it. Do it, but also commit to doing it properly. You know, it's like commit to getting the support that you actually need. And that's not just from committing to a VA with particular hours. That's commit to getting yourself the support from a really great outsourcing provider. Commit to getting the technology that you need in place. In place. Get that technology in place. Commit to designing your business in a way that you want to see it ultimately unfold. You know, and don't leave it just up to chance. Actually commit to doing those things, so that you give yourself the best chance to succeed in it, because it will work if you commit to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Laura, for your time and your very valuable input. This is Nadine from Affordable Staff, helping you...
Do you want me to do an outtake? Helping you achieve business efficiency through outsourcing.
Thanks, Laura.